My auntie was a bank manager for 31 years. She knew things about money that most people never get access to. Not because the information was secret exactly, but because the people who understood it worked inside the system that benefited them. She watched people walk in every single week and deposit their money into savings accounts that paid them almost nothing, while the bank used that same money to generate returns she could see on her own screen. She understood the gap, the real gap, not between rich and poor, between people who let their money sit and people who put their money to work. And one afternoon, I was just starting to earn something worth thinking about. She sat me down and told me something that was not on any school curriculum I had ever seen. Something that most financial institutions would rather you figured out too late, if at all. She said saving money is not the same as building wealth. And until you understand the difference, you will keep doing the right thing and wondering why it is not adding up. I did not fully understand what she meant. Not then. But I wrote it down. And years later, sitting with the real numbers in front of me for the first time, I understood exactly what she had seen from behind that counter for 3 decades. This is CoinTin, the channel where we take the money wisdom that got passed down from the people who watched the system closely enough to understand it, and we run it through real numbers. If you have money sitting in savings right now, and you are not sure what the next step is, this video is the step. Hit subscribe because what comes after this is going to build on everything we cover today. Today we walk through the exact path from saving to investing, step by step, in the right order. No jargon, no guesswork. The thing my auntie understood from the inside and took the time to explain from the outside. Let's go. Before the steps, one thing needs to be completely clear, because until it is, the steps will not make full sense. Saving and investing are not two versions of the same thing. They are two different tools with two completely different jobs. Saving is protection. Your savings account exists to protect money, to keep it accessible, to keep it stable, to make sure it is there when you need it. That is its job, and it does that job well. But protection is not the same as growth. Here is what your savings account is actually doing with your money. On a standard savings account earning somewhere around 0.5% to 1% interest, if you have $10,000 sitting there for a full year, you have made between $50 and $100. $50 to $100 on $10,000 in 12 months. Now here is what that same money could be doing. The broad market, the overall stock market, tracked by a simple index fund, has historically returned an average of 7 to 10% per year over long periods. At 7%, that same $10,000 after 1 year becomes $10,700. After 10 years, it becomes nearly $20,000. After 30 years, it becomes $76,000. From the same $10,000, the same money you already have, just pointed somewhere different. That is not a trick. That is not a loophole. That is compound growth. And it is the thing my auntie watched people miss every single day she worked in that building. People would come in, deposit their money, smile at the balance going up slowly, and walk out believing they were building wealth. They were building a foundation, not the same thing. And the transition the moment you take what you have saved and begin pointing some of it toward growth instead of just protection, that is the most financially significant move most people will ever make. Here is the honest reason. It is not that people do not know investing exists. Most people know it exists. It is that investing feels like the opposite of safe. When your money is in a savings account, you can see it. The number does not move. It does not drop 5% on a Tuesday afternoon because of something happening on the other side of the world. It just sits there, solid, reassuring, exactly where you left it. Investing feels different. The number moves, sometimes up, sometimes down. The news gets dramatic. People around you panic. And that emotional volatility, the feeling of watching a number you worked hard to build go the wrong direction, even temporarily, is enough to keep most people from starting at all. My auntie had a name for this. She called it protection paralysis. The instinct to protect what you have become so strong that it prevents you from building what you could have. She saw it constantly. Smart people, disciplined people, people who had done everything right up to that point, who froze at the exact moment the next step required a slightly different relationship with uncertainty. And the freezing cost them, not because they lost money, because they never made it. The difference between those who made the transition and those who didn't was almost never intelligence. It was almost always psychology. Understanding that, really understanding that the fear is normal, the volatility is normal, and the long-term trajectory of the market has historically always pointed upward. Step 3, start investing. Start smaller than you think. Here is the number that stops most people before they begin. They imagine investing requires a meaningful sum, a real starting position, something that actually counts. No, it does not. Most modern investment platforms allow you to start with $50. Some allow less. And the amount you start with matters far less than the fact that you start. Because what you are building in the early stages of investing is not primarily a portfolio. It is a relationship with volatility. You are teaching yourself in real time, with real money, what it actually feels like to have money in the market, to watch it go up, to watch it go down, to feel the discomfort of a bad week, and then the recovery, to understand in your body, not just your head, that the fluctuation is normal and the long-term direction is up. So, start with whatever amount that will not cause you genuine hardship if it temporarily drops in value. For some people that is $50. For some it is $500. The number is less important than the experience of beginning. Step 4, keep it simple. Ignore the noise. This is where most beginners make the most expensive mistake. They start investing. They feel the early momentum. And then they start paying attention to the financial content landscape. My auntie told me something about this that I have never forgotten. She said the bank never made money from customers who kept things simple. The products with the most fees are almost always the ones with the most explanation attached. The simplest investments almost always outperform complicated ones over the long term. A low-cost broad market index fund is one of the most powerful financial instruments available to an ordinary investor. It does not try to pick winning companies. It buys a small piece of all of them. When the overall market grows, and over long periods, it has your investment grows with it. Low fees, no stock picking, no timing the market, no paying someone a commission to make decisions that historically underperform the simple alternative. Warren Buffett has said it repeatedly. The research says it consistently. The boring strategy wins. Find a broad market index fund. Check the annual fee. Look for under 0.5%. Set up a recurring monthly contribution. Step 5, be consistent and be boring about it. This is where wealth is actually built. Not in the choice of fund, not in the timing of when you buy, in the consistency of how long you keep going. Here is what consistency actually produces. $300 a month, invested in a broad market index fund, averaging 8% annual return over 25 years. Total amount you contributed from your own pocket, $90,000. Total value of the investment after 25 years, approximately $285,000. The growth, the money, the market added beyond your own contributions is nearly $200,000. More than double what you put in. Generated entirely by time and consistency. That is compound growth. And compound growth requires exactly two things: time and consistency. Time you cannot manufacture. The earlier you start, the more of it you have. But consistency is entirely within your control. Here is the practical way to make consistency automatic. Set up a recurring transfer on the same day every month. Ideally, the day your pay arrives, that moves your investment contribution directly into your index fund. Not after you have decided the market looks safe enough. Not after you have checked the news automatically on the scheduled day, because the market will never feel perfectly safe. There will always be headlines, always a reason to wait one more month. The automation removes the question entirely. The money moves before the doubt has a chance to stop it. Most people will ask, what happens when the market is down? I want to address this directly because it is the moment most people's plans fall apart. The market will drop, not might, will, probably multiple times during your investing life. And when it does, when the number in your investment account goes down and the headlines get dramatic and people around you are talking about crashes, everything in you will want to do something. Sell before it gets worse. Move it back to savings where it is safe. Wait until things settle down. Here is what my auntie understood from 30 years of watching people make financial decisions inside a bank. The people who lost the most money in downturns were almost never the people who stayed invested. They were the people who sold at the bottom and waited to buy back in at the top. They turned a temporary drop into a permanent loss. Here is the reframe that changes everything. When the market drops, keep putting your monthly amount as scheduled. You are buying more shares at lower prices. When the market recovers, as it has recovered from every single downturn in its recorded history, those shares bought at discount prices are worth more than what you paid for them. A market downturn, for a consistent long-term investor with an emergency fund and a long-time horizon, is not a disaster. It is a sale. My auntie retired from that bank with a very clear understanding of what the system rewarded and what quietly discouraged. She watched people save faithfully for decades and arrive at retirement with less than they expected, not because they were irresponsible, because they stopped at step one. Save your money. Right, essential, the foundation of everything. But the foundation was never supposed to be the whole building. The transition from saving to investing done in the right sequence, with the right psychology, with the patience to let compounding do what only time can do, that is the building. And the sequence is this. Emergency fund first. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Separate account. Untouchable. Then the mental separation. Safety money and growth money. 2 buckets. 2 jobs. Then consistency. Every month. Rain or shine. Market up or market down. Every month without stopping. There are 3 questions I want to answer directly before you close this video and before the doubt has a chance to talk you out of starting. Question 1. What if I pick the wrong fund? A low-cost, broad market index fund is not a single bet on one company. It is a bet on the overall market, hundreds or thousands of companies at once. Look for 3 things only. Broad market coverage. It tracks the whole market, not one sector, not one industry. Low fees, annual management fee under 0.5%. You are not looking for last year's best performer. You are looking for the lowest cost, broadest coverage, most boring option available. Question 2. What if the market crashes right after I start? This is genuinely possible. It could happen, and it genuinely feels awful when it does. But here is the historical reality. Every market crash in recorded history has been followed by a recovery. The 2008 financial crisis, the 2020 pandemic drop. It went up to reach new highs every time. Question 3. What if I need the money and cannot get it out? Unlike a locked-in pension or a term deposit, most share market investments through a standard brokerage account are fully liquid. You can sell your shares and have the cash within 2 to 3 business days, in most cases. The risk is not access. The risk is being forced to sell at a loss because you need the money during a downturn. Which is exactly why the emergency fund exists, so that situation never forces your hand. Let me show you one more number that my auntie understood and that most people never see laid out this clearly. 2 people, same salary, same age, same starting point. Person A saves $300 a month into a savings account, earning 1%. Does this for 30 years. Never misses, never stops. Completely disciplined. After 30 years, approximately $125,000. Person B saves the same $300 a month for the first year building the emergency fund, then redirects that contribution into a broad market index fund averaging 8% annual return. Does this for 29 years. Never misses, never stop, same discipline, different destination. After 30 years, approximately $415,000. Same income, same monthly amount, same discipline. The difference, $290,000. That is not a small gap. That is a different retirement entirely. My auntie watched that gap play out across hundreds of customers across 31 years behind that counter. She knew which side of the gap she wanted the people she loved to be on. That is why she told me. And that is why I am telling you. Are you still building the emergency fund? Already investing and looking to be more consistent? Or right in the middle? Leave a comment and tell me where you are in this journey. Share this video with someone who has money saved and no idea what to do with it next. Subscribe for new video every week. The tin is just the beginning.